Welcome to Mooteachiee, your one-stop destination for simplified science and dairy technology. In today's episode, we are diving deep into the fundamentals of milk and its composition, covering everything from raw milk to its nutritive value. Let's get started. Contents: we'll be exploring milk, composition of milk, physical properties of milk, nutritive value of milk. Introduction: milk is the food that exclusively sustains us during the first few months of life. Raw milk is defined as the lacteal secretion, practically free from colostrum, obtained by the complete milking of one or more healthy cows, as per the Pasteurized Milk Ordinance (PMO). The term milk is also used for white-colored non-animal beverages resembling milk in color and texture, such as soy milk, rice milk, almond milk, and coconut milk. Composition of milk: water makes up 87 to 88%. Carbohydrates are approximately 5%, mainly lactose, which is converted to lactic acid by bacterial fermentation. In heated milk products like condensed milk, there is also lactulose, which is a little sweeter. Fat content is 3 to 4% in whole milk. It contains fat-soluble vitamins, pigment carotene, and xanthophylls, and also cholesterol and phospholipids, but it is primarily triglycerides, making up 95%. The fat in milk occurs in the form of droplets or globules, surrounded by a membrane, and emulsified in the milk serum part, also known as the whey part or the watery part. Milk is an oil-in-water emulsion which is not naturally physically stable. That is why creaming occurs if it is left to stand. Protein: 3 to 4%. Casein makes up 80% of milk protein. The casein is arranged in superstructures called micelles, which consist of protein, together with phosphate, citrate, and calcium. The caseins are actually a group of similar proteins, which can be separated from the other milk proteins by acidification to a pH of 4.6. The casein micelles also may be coagulated by the addition of the enzyme renin. Whey proteins make up 20% of milk protein, including lactalbumin, lactoglobulin, and immunoglobulin. Whey proteins are more hydrated than casein and are denatured and precipitated by heat rather than by acid. Other protein components include enzymes such as lipase, protease, and alkaline phosphatase, which hydrolyze triglycerides, proteins, and phosphate esters respectively. The milk proteins are of high biological value and are readily used by the body. Vitamins and minerals. Vitamins: milk contains vitamins A, B6, B12, C, D, K, E, thiamine, niacin, biotin, riboflavin, folates, and pantothenic acid. Vitamin A is naturally found in the fat component of whole milk, and more may be added prior to sale. Whole milk is generally 98% fortified with vitamin D because it is naturally present only in small amounts. Low-fat and non-fat milk are fortified with both of these fat-soluble vitamins because milk fat is reduced or absent. Minerals: calcium and phosphorus are approximately 1% of milk. Calcium is present as calcium caseinate, calcium phosphate, and calcium citrate. Other minerals present are chloride, magnesium, potassium, sodium, and sulfur. Flavor of milk. The flavor of milk is mild and slightly sweet. The characteristic mouthfeel is due to the presence of emulsified fat, colloidally dispersed proteins, the carbohydrate lactose, and milk salts. Fresh milk contains acetone, acetaldehyde, methyl ketones, and saturated fatty acids that provide aroma. Flavor treatment to standardize the odor and flavor typically follows pasteurization. In this treatment process, milk is instantly heated to 195 degrees Fahrenheit, 91 degrees Celsius with live steam, which is injected directly into the product, and subsequently subject to a vacuum that removes volatile off flavors and evaporates excess water produced from the steam. Less desirable, barny or rancid flavors, or other off flavors may be due to the following: slightly cooked flavor from excessive pasteurization temperatures, animal feed, including ragweed and other weeds, or wild onion from the field. Lipase activity causes rancidity of the fat unless destroyed by the heat of pasteurization. Or the short-chain butyric acid may produce an off odor or off flavor due to bacteria rather than lipase in the emulsified water of milk. Light-induced flavor changes in the proteins and riboflavin because vitamin B2 acts as a photosynthesizer. Stage of lactation of the cow. Contamination of milk and milk products. Milk is sterile at secretion in the udder, but is contaminated by bacteria even before it leaves the udder. Further infection of the milk by microorganisms can take place during milking, handling, storage, and other pre-processing activities. Few types of microorganisms found in milk: Streptococcus lactis, Achromobacter, coliform bacteria, Bacillus subtilis. Physical properties. Acidity: fresh milk pH is 6.5 to 6.7 at 25 degrees Celsius. Viscosity: depends on the amount of fat, size of fat globules, and extent of clustering of globules. Homogenization and aging increase the viscosity. Freezing point minus 0.55 degrees Celsius. Addition of 1% of water to milk reduces the freezing point by minus 0.0055 degrees Celsius. Boiling point 100.2 degrees Celsius. Nutritive value. Good quality protein with a biological value over 90%. Lysine is in abundance. Easily digestible fat containing 2.1% linoleic acid, 0.5% linolenic acid, and 0.14% arachidonic acid. The only substance that contains lactose, which is essential for synthesis of myelin sheath, galactose, favors the growth of lactobacillus in the intestine and decreases the pH, thus favoring calcium absorption. Also increases the permeability of the small intestine for calcium ions. Poor source of iron and vitamin C. Not a good source of niacin, but an excellent source of tryptophan. Major source of calcium and riboflavin. We can refer to the composition of milk from different species per 100 grams for more detailed information. Milk varieties. Whole milk, reduced fat milk, low fat milk, fat-free milk, flavored milk, cultured buttermilk, evaporated milk, evaporated fat-free milk, sweetened condensed milk, acidophilus milk, lactose-reduced or lactose-free milk, low-sodium milk, eggnog, whole dry milk, low-fat dry milk, fat-free dry milk, fresh milk products. Whole milk, fresh milk from the cow with vitamin D added, contains 3.5% fat, 88% water, and 8.5% non-fat milk solids. You cannot add acid directly to milk, as curdling can take place. Skim or non-fat milk has most or all fat removed. Fat content is less than 0.5%. Low-fat milk has a fat content between 0.5% and 2%. Homogenized milk has been processed so the cream does not separate. This is done by forcing milk through tiny holes, which breaks up the fat particles. Nearly all milk on the market is homogenized. Thanks for watching this episode on milk and its properties, only on Mooteachiee. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a dairy deep dive. Stay curious, stay smart. See you in the next video.